Okay, again, this is Letitia on August 3rd, 2016. In this video, I'm going to talk about how we get to another huge essential resource for everything that you do, as well as what the curriculum committee needs to be mindful of, and that is the Program and Course Approval Handbook. And that is also sourced and updated by the California Community College Chancellor's Office. Essentially, what you can remember about this document is that it is developed by the Chancellor's Office in accordance with regulations, again, to which the community colleges are held accountable to. So essentially, there are the regulations that drive the college through Title V, et cetera, statute, et cetera. And the California Community College Chancellor's Office sets up the parameters through which the colleges conform to those regulations. So the Program and Course Approval Handbook is the user guide for that process at the colleges. So we'll come back to that later. Here we are at the California Community College's Chancellor's Office Academic Affairs page, the drill down page we visited in a previous video. What we're going to do here is go to Program and Course Approval again. And down here, we see shortcuts and resources around Program and Course Approval. The guidelines that we should follow, as well as available resources and let's see, and external resources. So let's just see, Program and Course Approval Handbook. And it says 5th edition final, and it also gives the date when this particular handbook was instituted. Just so you know, there has been a lot of talk about the forthcoming 6th edition of what is affectionately known as the PCAH, P-C-A-H, the acronym for the book, but its full name is the Program and Course Approval Handbook, aka the PCAH. That one is to be coming out, which will uphold new guidelines, but they've been promising this for almost 2 years now, and in that guideline, in that new PCAH, there will be new regulations and guidelines that have since come up and been presented to us, but they're not all in one cohesive manual. So this PCAH, the 5th edition that we're going to be looking at, is not quite complete. Some new guidelines, supplemental guidelines have come out. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and it brings me to the cover page. You'll see up here that I have created an a favorite to bring me to this book because I do use it a lot. And this is put out by the California Community College Chancellor's Office, as you can see. And this guide gives us the nuts and bolts of what it takes to get courses and programs adopted, meaning created and approved by the Chancellor's Office, modified, or discontinued. And it has a table of contents that gives you some little quick insights on what's going on in the book. Just like it is in Curricunet, where the curriculum is sorted into courses and programs, or what I like to call awards, program awards, so is the activity at the Chancellor's Office. This document does not make it so straightforward that it also regards the curriculum in the same way, but what you'll want to remember as you're working with curriculum is that depending on what type of proposal you are working with, there are different things that are required. So for example, a certificate of achievement is going to have a different set of protocols for approval than would an associate degree, as would an associate degree for transfer have different protocols for approval as would be the Associate of Arts degree or a certificate of achievement. You'll see that the Skills Attainment Certificate that Columbia College includes in its catalog is not alluded to in this document. This is because the Skills Attainment Award is not an award that is officially recognized by the State Chancellor's Office. And as an important fact to bear in mind about the Skills Attainment, it does not get printed on students' transcripts as per state regulation. It is a way for colleges to create small awards, maybe a cluster of courses, to maybe serve a student need, but in the long run, we as an institution may need to wonder, is this what our students can use and do they need it? So some schools use them for experimental purposes, or to help satisfy requirements for something very specific. Columbia College does have a lot of skills attainment certificates, and it will be interesting to see where those, how those evolve in the next few years. Now, in the spirit of full disclosure, I will confess to you that I have never read this book in its entirety. Some of the information included in this book is stuff that I already know. For example, about curriculum approval and authority, or how to set up user accounts in the inventory. I'm pleased to tell you that the current inventory is pretty user-friendly, so some of this stuff is kind of common sense. But where you're going to spend a lot of your time, most of your time doing your work in the inventory, is in this section here, from 10 forms to many actions, new program course, view a course, amendment, bulk uploads, Chancellor's Office review process. But as you're doing that, remember this publication is almost 3 years old and has already been identified as having some deficits. What I'd like to do is go from 10 forms to many actions getting started to page 41. Let's see if we can get there pretty quickly. And one limitation of this document, I believe, is that if you search for page 41, you actually end up on a different numbered page. When they created the PDF, I don't think they knew how to make sure that it ended up on the same page in the browser as in the PDF. Okay, so let's see. Almost there, almost there. Okay, so thank you for your patience. All right. From 10 forms to many actions getting started. What this tells you is how to go about using the inventory. Now, the reason they say from 10 forms is in the past, up till around 2009, curriculum was submitted on paper forms, requiring paper signatures and mailing dates and a whole lot of rigmarole that created some bloat in terms of getting things moving. What's nice about the improvements that they've made in this system from a user point of view is that they've figured out how to simplify accountability in terms of what elements you're supposed to upload. Whereas you used to have to get the signature of the chancellor and you had to get the signature of the dean and the curriculum chair. They basically stripped it down so that the board approval date was something that by entering it into the system, the board approval date implies that all the other requisite processes have taken place. So as you can see here, they're giving you nice instructions on how to create a new program or course. So to initiate a new program, you're going to click on the new program icon within the program module. If you'll recall in a previous video, we talked about it being split in programs and courses. And then it very nicely walks you through these screenshots of how to select appropriate values. Now, these values would be given to you through the curriculum process with the exception of some of the codes, but hopefully using different bits of information from the curriculum itself, you can appropriately select those codes. If I have time, I hope to provide a video on that as well. To initiate a new course, you're going to do creating a new course over here. To view a record. Anyway, so this walks you through it, but I want to tell you as an end user, I've never had to use this document to figure out how to use the system. What I do need the program and course approval handbook to do is to teach me which type of application I need to submit for the changes or actions that have taken place.